Professor Rostami, running for McKinney Mayor, and today I thought I would give a class to all of the spectators here. You can show them around. Yes, look how excited everyone here is today to learn about sales tax in McKinney. So let's go through some of the numbers and show how sales tax is actually calculated. So first of all, we all have to pay 6.25% to the state of Texas. You just have to pay this. There's nothing you can do about it. That's just the whole state. Doesn't matter what city you live in. Now, cities are allowed to charge up to 2% tax on the residents. And that 2% typically gets split. 1% of it goes into what we like to call the general fund. And that's what funds police, fire, the salaries of the government employees. And in some cities, like McKinney, the other 1% goes into, half of it goes into what's called the CDC. And no, not the one that takes care of diseases. It is the Community Development Corporation. And that's purpose that we all voted for in the 1990s to improve the quality of life and fund in McKinney, whatever that means. The other 0.5% goes in what's called the EDC, which is the Economic Development Corporation, which is supposed to help promote businesses and growth and good stuff, whatever that means, also voted for by the voters in the 90s. And this makes up the other 1%. Now, the CDC and EDC does some good stuff. They fund some of the capital projects, fix the roads, some of the infrastructure that's for public use. But a lot of it goes into private corporations. Like we were talking about the $1.6 million that went to Craig Ranch, the $10,000 going to advertise some of these festivals, or some of the money going into the amphitheater, and some of the money going into the airport, and a bunch of other stuff. So what I suggest is that we take some of this 1%, let's say half of it, and we add it back into the regular sales tax and bring that up to 1.5%. That way more of it will go into the general fund. And as I said, the general fund funds the police, the fire department, and the employees working for the government. But you know what else goes into the general fund? What else goes into the general fund that helps pay for all that stuff? Property taxes. So think about it. If we have more sales tax going into the general fund, I will need less property taxes, which means I can start giving some of the money back to you. Now, some of the detractors will say, but we need the EDC and CDC. If we don't have it, how's the city gonna grow and we're gonna have a good time and bring businesses? Well, why don't we just look at other cities? Let's take a look at Plano. Plano also does the same thing. They split it into 1%, but what they do with the other 1% for Plano, they put it in the DART, mass transit system. Horrible use of that 1%. Like, that's pretty bad. Thank God we're not doing that. But with 1% sales tax, Plano has still grown. People are still having fun in Plano. Businesses are still coming. So what do we need to use the 1% for exactly? So what I suggest is that we have a discussion and we decide what are we going to do with this 1%. Because last time, this was decided back in 1993. And that's almost 30 years more. And I think we need to start having a discussion about what should fund the general fund and what should the property tax burden be. Because there's a lot of misinformation going around out there. You got people in my comments section shamelessly saying things like, oh, if we get rid of this, we still have to pay the 8.25% to the state. No, we don't. Only 6.25% go to the state. People say this stuff. Or they'll say, oh, EDC and CDC, they're not funded by the taxpayer. It's like we pay sales tax on this. Like, this is crazy. People don't even understand how this stuff works and they're just talking and running their mouths. But you can review this video and do your own research and understand how the sales tax works in the city of McKinney. Hope you enjoyed the video. Dr. Rostami, take care.